Welcome back everyone to the Hello World Guy, and this is the first episode of the Unreal Engine 4 beginner bonus series. So if you remember, in the last video we had pretty much got our beginner series done of Unreal Engine, and I am making a couple of bonus things that we can add to this to make it look a little better, and I'm going to put this in a separate playlist just so it's easier to find for those who have are a bit more advanced and have past the beginner stage. So if you haven't watched my beginner series yet, then I would highly recommend you to watch it so that you actually get to this point in the game and you also find out how the basic game works, and after you have done that, you can continue with this bonus series. So in this first bonus episode, what we are going to do is what I actually want to do is, if you play the game right now, you can see that our player has got a health bar on top of him on the left corner, and this enemy, we hit him but he does not have a health bar to show how much health he has, which is not something that I want. I want him to actually have a actually show us how much health he has. And how are we going to do that? Basically we want to add a small floating health bar on top of the enemy, which is going to be rather easy. Let me just go under blueprints and then UI, and I'm going to right click and create a new blueprint class called just call it, no, not really blueprint class, user interface and widget blueprint, and I'm going to call this enemy what do you call it, health bar. Okay, great. I'm going to for now just put a single progress bar in here, which is I'm going to just put in the center, and I'm going to make the anchors 0.5 and 0.5, and I'm going to make its size a little bit larger to something like 200 and by 100, I guess. Yeah, not really, 70. Now make this 100, and I'm going to make this 350, like that, or maybe 400. Yeah, that looks pretty much awesome. I'm actually going to increase this to 600, I guess. That looks a bit better. Okay, so now I'm going to open up my enemy, and in here what I'm going to do is I'm going to go under here, and we are going to add a widget component here. Now what this does is basically we can add this to our scene, and you can go in here, and you can go where is it supposed to be? I kind of alright, so basically what you can do is you can go under user interface, and for the widget class select that enemy health bar that we just created, and just like that we have got a health bar in here. Now that is extremely large, and you can actually reduce this whole screen down if you want to, because it's not really necessary for us to kind of have it cover the whole screen, but the screen it's still a bit too large, so you might want to decrease its size a bit more, but I'm not going to do that. Instead I'm going to decrease the size in here to 0.3, like around that. That looks pretty awesome, and then I'm going to move it to the top of the enemy's head, and I'm going to go ahead and hit play now, and what you should see is that as soon as our first enemy spawns, yeah, we have got a health bar on top of him. And that health bar is for a lot of the time facing us, but it's not like always. It's only facing us because the enemy is trying to face us, or else it won't be facing us. So if I jump on top, you can see that it's basically not facing us, and we want this to be always facing us, facing the camera. So how are we going to do that? I'm going to select this widget. I'm going to go under event graph, then I'm going to find the event tick, and we want to do something before this branch. So what I'm going to do is we are going to use another special type of node here, which is very useful when you are trying to do a lot of stuff on ticks on event tick, and it involves a bunch of branches or something. You can use a sequence node. So this basically allows you to have one thing, and then after this you will get the other thing done regardless of the branch and problems and stuff. So I'm going to select all of these, I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to go collapse nodes. This collapses them to a subgraph, and we are going to rename this to what are we doing here actually? Okay, let me first check. I kind of forgot. Okay, we are basically moving, so we are going to I'm going to rename this to, okay, what did I do? Okay, open up the event graph again, and I'm going to rename this to movement and damage. Alright, after we have got that done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this then 0 node, I'm going to ignore this, and now I'm going to go to the then 1 node, and this will execute after that. So what we are going to do is we are going to go ahead and say set rotation set world rotation of the widget. And we are going to basically take our widget and set its rotation to a specific value. What that value is going to be, we are going to use a function called get camera manager, get player camera manager. This gives us the camera manager, which is a special thing that manages camera, I guess. And you can say get camera location. And after you have done that, you need to go ahead and get the world location of the widget, get world location of the widget, get world location. Don't use get relative location. And then go ahead and say find look at rotation. So for the start, keep the rotation of location of the widget, and for the target, keep it for the camera, and then just put the return value in the new rotation. Now this should make it always face us. So let me just wait for one of those to spawn. And here you can see it's facing me, and if I jump up, it's still facing me. And this is exactly what we want. So now we want it to actually show the health of the enemy instead of just sitting there and doing. So alright guys, I have set this fill color and opacity to be red colored because I like because it kind of makes sense that enemy is red. And by the way, you can also change this background if you don't like it right now. So you can go under like up there in style, and you can open that up, and you can go under background image, and you can add a red tint to it. But obviously we want this tint to be darker, and this means that now when you actually do %, it looks like this, which is quite nice actually. Yeah, so that we have got done. And now what we are going to do is we are going to go under here, and we are going to bind this %, and we are going to create a binding, and we are going to rename this to be get health. Now we can't just use a function like we did for the player, because that would like get one of the enemies and like put this health instead of getting the enemy getting the health of the correct enemy. So what we are going to do is we are going to go ahead and add in a now where is it, yeah, a variable here, and I'm going to call that variable something like health. Okay. Now I'm going to add that as health, and then I'm going to make it a float. And if you remember, then for the enemy, for the health, basically we have got a health of 100 by default. So that means that what we can do is we can basically take this health variable, get health, and what we are going to do is we are going to set yeah, okay, so basically we are going to take this health value, and we are going to divide this by 100, which gives us a percentage from 0, a percentage basically from 0 to 1, and we are going to plug that in the return value, and it's really as simple as that. Okay, let me put this here and this here. Yeah, that's extremely simple, obviously, but it currently is determined by what our health is. If I set my health to be something like I set it to be 14, and if I hit play now, what you should see is that whatever enemy spawns has got a tiny bit of health. Yeah, you can see that, which obviously we want it to have full health, which is and this is not what we want. So what we are going to do is we are going to set this health back to 100. Actually, by default we are going to keep the health at 100, and then I'm going to go under my enemy, and each time the game starts, I guess. Okay, so on each tick after we have set the world location, what we are going to do is we are going to take this widget and